早速、キーノートの方に移りたいと思います。本日、キーノートですね、1時間半という長丁場になるんですけれども、グローバルリーダーが2名来ていただいてくださってですね、今後の SAP の戦略であったり、あとはクラウド、失礼しました、ALM であったり、あとはインテグレートツールチェーン、そういったところの文脈でですね、我々の方からお客様に、もしくはパートナー様にですね、その価値をご提供するための将来像、そういったものをですね、ご紹介させていただきたいと思います。で、その後にですね、石黒様、NEC のですね、石黒様の方にご登壇いただきまして、今年1年、NEC 様の方でお取り組みいただいた、POC をベースにですね、ちょっと語っていただくようなことをしていただいた後に、最新の ALM の情報をですね、お届けしたいと思っております。それでは早速、キーノートの方に移りたいと思います。はい。Stefan, over to you.
Thanks a lot, and welcome to all of you. Thanks for joining our ALM Summit 2025 in Tokyo here. It's a great pleasure for me to be here, and yeah, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedules for the next couple of days to spend time with us. And yeah, check if you are ready for takeoff with SAP. I can actually guarantee you we, from an SAP perspective, are ready to support our customers, to support our partners on their SAP-based transformation journey. Yeah, and I'm very, very happy to kick this event off, talk a little bit about SAP's product vision, product strategy, talk a little bit how we support our customers in the best possible way. Yeah, and actually then also hand it over to the experts who will go much deeper into all kinds of different aspects of how we support your transformation journeys with SAP. And yeah, well, when we look a little bit around us, we always, focus very much on SAP. But let us also take a look what is happening around us, actually. And let us also acknowledge there is a lot of uncertainty around us, right? We have geopolitically different, difficult situations. We have new technologies emerging, and all of us are asking ourselves, how can we make use of those technologies also in a good, positive way? But yeah, that already shows us a little bit that those challenges and uncertainties are actually all opportunities for us and for our businesses. These are opportunities for our customers at SAP to evolve into new markets, to build new business models, to reach new levels of efficiency as well. But these are also opportunities for our partners. And I know that a lot of you are also from our partner ecosystem here coming today. Opportunities for our partners to, of course, help our joint customers, making positive use of these opportunities. So we are actually very, very excited from an SAP perspective, and we are very much aware that, similar to an airplane that is, flying from one place to the other, turbulence can occur. You never know how the weather is looking like. But of course, when you have the right support system around you, when you have the right data available as a pilot, then you are also able to navigate these challenges and also come, to your destination in a safe and smooth way. And I think, when we speak about SAP transformations and the business transformations which our customers are running, I have a lot of customer conversations, about 200 to 300 customer conversations per year, which I'm having personally. And a lot of customers are asking me, hey, we have a certain starting point. We have our ECC on-premise systems. We have a lot of other systems around it. We have maybe a little bit of cloud LOB solutions from SAP or also from other providers. So we have a certain state. But how can we get to the bright new world of SAP? And so let us acknowledge that our customers have a certain starting point, right? And when I look at how IT organizations actually spend their money, IT organizations today spend a lot of money integrating different, solutions, making sense of the disconnected data, which is in these monolithic systems available. And then also, of course, a lot of questions from our customers are around how can we be innovative? How our business users innovations like artificial intelligence and others. So we have a starting point which is not in all cases allowing, directly for seizing those opportunities that I have talked about before. And you also know that from an SAP perspective, when you embark on a transformation journey, we actually have two main offerings for our customers. First of all, we have RISE with SAP, which is the cloud-based transformation journey for our existing customers. And we have an offering also for new SAP customers that have maybe used non-SAP solutions before, which is called Grow with SAP. And both of these offerings actually build on what we call the SAP Business Suite, a set of well-aligned and integrated cloud solutions, cloud ERP, but also cloud LOB solutions with our business technology platform as the underlying platform for extensibility, integration, and automation as well. And this is actually our, in just one sentence, the product strategy of SAP. And when we look a little bit into the different elements of this product strategy, when we look a little bit into the three layers of SAP's product vision, of course, we first have to start with SAP's business applications. And, to come to the airport and plane analogy from earlier, this is a little bit like, when you have a fleet of airplanes, flying different directions, you have finance applications, you have supply chain management applications, you have human resources applications. But of course, the more they speak the same language, they use the same protocols, the better they are aligned with each other and talk to each other, the more efficient your fleet actually operates. And we believe that the same is true for SAP's business applications. The more you use SAP's applications across the entire stack, the more you can benefit from the built-in integrations of SAP, and the less time IT organizations then also have to spend, on bringing all of those different products together and making it end-to-end processes for the respective business units in your corporates. That is why we are convinced from an SAP perspective that running an integrated set of SAP business applications as part of the SAP Business Suite is actually the right way to go for many of our customers. And then, of course, I've talked a little bit about communication protocols as well. And it's the same like when you operate an airport and when you have airplanes, you need to speak somehow the same language, right? When one pilot speaks about the height above sea level, and the other pilot speaks about the height above ground, then they speak a different language. And then it is very difficult, to navigate jointly and navigate into, a similar direction. And that is why also we believe that business applications need to speak actually the same language. And we need to make sure that the data which is in the underlying business applications is semantically aligned as well. And this is what we aim to make sure from an SAP perspective with the SAP Business Data Cloud, with which we want to make sure that all of the data that is around in your business application is semantically aligned. And by that, you can also then leverage all the benefits of having integrated data, having fast decision making, making sure that you have integrated planning processes that are not disconnected from each other, and you actually have the right basis, to steer your company in an appropriate way. So making sure that you have a well-aligned, integrated, and semantically aligned business data as part of a platform like the SAP Business Data Cloud is for us also a very, very important prerequisite in order to steer your business in a perfect way. And then, of course, once this is done, then you can actually also talk about innovations with your business units, with a business leader in your respective organizations. Then you can actually speak about how do we then make sense out of those applications, out of the business data, and use and leverage that for things like automations, for things like efficiency, or also to move into new business models, to new business opportunities. And you can then actually use SAP's business AI as well. And we truly really believe that, you know, when you have integrated business applications, semantically aligned data, then you can actually build up a system of business AI which understands your entire company and not just an isolated part of your finance accounting processes and one other AI that understands an isolated part of your supply chain, for example. And in that regard, we absolutely believe that a business AI which understands your entire company is actually giving you more opportunities. And I've also spoken a lot with customers this year about what is the best starting point into business AI with SAP. A lot of customers say, hey, I have my current system landscape. My business is asking me, how can I use innovations? How can I get started, right? And what you are seeing here is actually the North Star. This is what we believe companies should be aspiring for. But of course, our customers can start right away, can start directly. And I just want to give you 3 pointers of how this can be done. First of all, for many of our business applications, we have our digital assistant SAP Joule already available. And this can then be activated by our customers so that the end users can interact in a different way with the business applications. A second pointer which I wanted to give to you is we have a lot of embedded AI scenarios, more than 300 embedded AI scenarios across our entire business application portfolio already. So it is always a good idea to regularly check which of those embedded business AI scenarios are available for the products which you or your customers are using, and to see which ones can be used and activated. And thirdly, a route and a path which a lot of our customers are going these days as well is what we call custom AI. So we have, as part of the business technology platform, we have all of those capabilities which our customers need in order to build their own business AI scenarios, individual scenarios addressing certain particular specific business needs. And also this is a good starting point for many of our customers to get started with SAP's business AI right away, rather than waiting for the future to come. I think those are the 3 opportunities for our customers to get started right away. And then, of course, when you see all of those 3 layers of our portfolio and of our product strategy in combination, this is a little bit like now also an airport app operates, right? This is like where the ground control and the air traffic control and all of those things really come together so that it's a seamless operations of all of those elements of an airport. When you have your business applications generating well-integrated data, which you can then semantically align, which is then being used by the business AI, and the business AI again improves the processes which you run with your business applications, generating even better data, giving the AI even better opportunities to improve your processes. Then this is this famous flywheel which can get started, where you have continuous innovations, continuous improvement of your business processes and of your business operations, and actually then a great benefit as well for your business targets. That is actually, in a nutshell and in just a couple of minutes, the product strategy and the product vision of SAP, and something I would say we are very proud about. But of course, a lot of customers ask us, hey, we have a certain starting point, as mentioned. We have the North Star from SAP, now how to get there. And in those next 2 to 3 days, this is all what we are talking about here in the ALM Summit. How do we actually help our customers in very practical ways, in very practical terms, to get from the current state to the future product North Star of SAP in the most seamless and most efficient way? This is actually what application lifecycle management is all about. And like at every airport, you need a control tower as well that knows all of those things, that knows the ground operations, that knows all the airplanes that are flying around, and that is also making sure that when there are unpredicted things happening, that there is a fast reaction to that to resolve them. And this is actually what we believe is a good synonym for SAP's customer support organization as well, application lifecycle management, and a lot of the topics we are talking about here in the next days is part of SAP's customer support strategy. And for that reason, I also want to give you a little bit of an overview of that control tower of SAP, as we call it, of SAP's customer support and what is that strategy about, so that you have a little bit an overall context for the discussions in the next couple of days. And at SAP, as you know, we have a strategy for customer support, which is not just reacting to issues which our customers report to us. Of course, it is one important pillar when our customers report an issue to us, that we react in a fast way to those issues, right? This is what we call reactive support. This is when our customers send a ticket to us, that we respond in a fast way. We also want to give a lot of proactive help and support to our customers. And actually, it will maybe surprise you that with the help of a lot of innovative AI technologies that we have in place in customer support, that more than 80% of the cases when our customers report an issue to us, we are able to provide an instant, immediate solution to our customers. So our customers don't have to wait until a support engineer responds, but with the help of our AI technologies, we are able to help proactively our customers. I think this is something which is very innovative and very, very important for our customers, that they don't always have to wait for someone to respond to their issues. And as part of what we call effortless support, we also invest a lot into what we call preventive support. So we have a lot of collaborations in place internally at SAP to make sure that we prevent issues from happening at the first place, rather than waiting until our customers experience an issue and then, reacting to that. So I think this is what we all do as part of our effortless support strategy. You may also know that as part of SAP's enterprise support, there are a lot of enhanced offerings that we have, similar to an airport, where you don't just go and you enter the plane and then you depart, but you can also buy luggage there. You can also buy food, which you may need along the travel, right? And also in SAP's customer support, in SAP enterprise support, we have a lot of those elements like proactive services, guidance, quality checks. We offer, for example, the cloud application lifecycle management tooling free of charge to our customers. So there is much more, than just core support, which you get from SAP as part of our support strategy. And of course, we always want to make sure that this all leads to a seamless experience to our customers, and that our customers have everything they need along their transformation journey. And as said, these are some elements we will talk intensively about in the next couple of sessions, which you will be hearing. Now, of course, as you can imagine, and as I have already mentioned, we are using a lot of innovative AI technologies in customer support at SAP already today. We have more than 60 AI scenarios that are actively in place, used by more than 30,000 users each and every working day. And those AI scenarios are being called more than 1 million times per day. So this is a massive use case, actually also for the product strategy that I have mentioned to you a little bit earlier today, what we do in customer support at SAP. A lot of innovative offerings and a lot of stuff that we are doing on top of, responding to support tickets day in and day out to you. Now, I would actually say that when you look at SAP's customer support strategy and what we are doing, similar to that control tower at an airport, actually no matter what the weather looks like, if there is a thunderstorm, if there is turbulence around, or if the weather is just nice, we are actually here to make sure that you have a smooth, simple, easy journey with SAP. And I think that sets probably a good foundation for the next couple of sessions, and specifically also now for a deeper look into application lifecycle management and how we support our customers on their transformation journey. And that is for me, of course, the great opportunity to hand over to someone who has much more knowledge about these topics, who has actually invented many of the concepts that we are seeing as part of what we call the integrated tool chain at SAP and so on, and who is also owning this topic on behalf of SAP. And for that reason, let me hand it over to Søren Ruder, our head of customer experience and solutions, who will take it a little bit deeper. Søren, over to you.
Thank you, Stefan. Thanks.
So,
Good. So thank you. Also welcome from my side to the ALM Summit here in Japan. Let me give you in the next 20 minutes a bit an overview about the strategy that we have here with Cloud ALM, which hopefully serves also for you as an agenda for the next 2 days, where you will get a lot of deep dives, where you can do some hands-on sessions and raise questions also to the experts that we will have here in Tokyo. And Stefan mentioned already, like, what are typical challenges customers see in transformation projects. It's a lot of legacy coding that we have in the systems that is hard to move into the new world. It's maybe data inconsistencies that take a lot of effort to clean up in order to be migrated. And there are multiple topics that we definitely need to cover and that you need to cover. And this is where Cloud ALM is supposed to help you with. And we also see it a bit like what SAP is looking into. We have not only the private cloud coming up, there's also the public cloud. We somehow also see something what we call an investor's dilemma. On the one hand side, you get some pressure to innovate as much as you can. And on the other hand side, you have a huge cost pressure inside. So you can't just invest as much as you want. You always need to keep a right balance between innovation and the costs in the end. And in order to do so, SAP has also invested a lot. I mean, we have also understand that the world has changed. I mean, in the past, in on-premise, SAP was selling just software and then in the end letting customers and partners figure it out on how to use it best and how to implement it. But in the cloud world, also SAP needed to change. And this is what we have done in the last couple of years, that we really actively need to help you to adopt the software. We are also in charge of doing so. It's not only about the customers and the partners. SAP needs to also have more skin in the game. And for that purpose, when we look into the last few years, SAP has invested significantly. So we acquired Signavio in 2021, we acquired LeanIX in 2023, and we have also acquired WalkMe just recently in 2024. So those were also huge financial investments from SAP, and I think it was also a clear statement and a clear commitment that we are really serious about helping our customers to really transform into the cloud and adopt the solutions in the most efficient way. If we look at that solutions that we have acquired, what do they do? Signavio is there really for process management and process analysis. LeanIX is there to help you to manage your landscapes, your enterprise architecture, and WalkMe is helping you also with the enablement and how to use solutions best. So all three solutions really focus on creating value. They really tell you where you can optimize your processes and your landscape and your workforce as much as possible. But what they are missing, and this is now where Cloud ALM comes into the play, they do not help you in actually realizing it. So you need something to realize it. And therefore we see Cloud ALM really as this transformation execution platform beneath those solutions and really connecting the dots in between to make a successful transformation. If we look at Cloud ALM as the transformation execution platform, we see it really as an end-to-end platform covering capabilities from different areas. When we start, we really mean end-to-end in the way it's intended to be. So we already start early in the scoping phase, helping you to understand what is the perfect transformation scope. Based on your current processes, on your current system, we can tell you what you need to keep in mind. We have, for example, the readiness check on Cloud ALM that gives you a very precise analysis on what you have to do. not so much about the benefits and the potential that you can create and further. This is then again with Signavio and LeanIX, but with Cloud ALM, you really understand what has to be done in order to go to S4HANA into RISE, for example. We also have a landscape discovery that tells you what systems are around, how they are connected, the interfaces in between. As a second step, and this is also where Cloud ALM is originally coming from, we are looking into the implementation space. So we have a profound project and task management where we then also can include the RISE with SAP methodology to give you a precise list of tasks that you need to execute and the project management reporting behind. As part of the implementation, we also help you with test management, organizing tests, creating test plans, and also with our dear partner Tricentis, looking into the test automation so that the manual efforts for testing are as low as possible. And this is also complemented by change and deployment management. Probably many of you use Solution Manager or have used it in the past with Charm. This is the successor of it, and we have made significant progress also here to have features available that you can actually move to Cloud ALM, managing the transports in Cloud ALM. So this is then also what we have then with the solution-oriented process management with the tight integration here in Signavio, or overall the solution management as itself. As the next pillar, we look into migration. So migration of custom code to ensure that custom code is executable, but also helping you, guiding you towards the clean core, helping you to understand what you need to do in order to make your custom code clean core compliant, but also for data migration, which is a very fundamental piece. No matter if you're in a brownfield conversion or if you're going into a new implementation, you always need to make sure that the data is in a consistent way. So based on Business Transformation Center, which is built on Cloud ALM, we help you guide through that and help you migrate the data where it needs to be. And as a last pillar, we are also looking very deeply into operations of your systems. Having different kinds of operations, different kinds of monitoring, like the integration monitoring between two different systems, the health monitoring or business process monitoring. So this is a huge set of capabilities that we have where you can really operate your systems in a very smooth way. So looking into that pillars, we start with the scoping. We help you to build the solutions. We help you to migrate data and custom code. And in the end, after the go live, we really help you to monitor and operate. That is what we mean with the transformation execution platform as Cloud ALM. So just recently, we also added the RISE with SAP dashboard as a cross layer between the different pillars, where you can really understand the current state of your systems, where you get information not only from the three pillars, which is now seen here on this slide, but also getting information from Signavio, from LeanIX, from WalkMe, so you can get it all together. So those are, this is a huge set of capabilities, but capabilities is only one thing. What we actually also provide to you is content, because content is actually making your life easier. It's not our goal to provide you an empty solution where you need to configure it all by yourselves. We really need to work also with content. And this is especially where the scope pillar comes into play. If we know your transformation scope, we can already pre-fill the project and task management with the right methodology, with the right activities that you need to do. If we know your application scope already, we can also help you to set up the integration monitoring way faster than before. So content is also a key pillar of our investments. Additionally, as an execution platform, of course, we also need to look into the delivery, into the services provided by SAP. So Cloud ALM is the central service delivery platform of SAP, with more than 15,000 consultants in the meantime working on it, ensuring that you get the services in a very transparent way, you get all the results, you get all the documentation. And last but not least, of course, we also work very closely with our partner ecosystem, on the technology side, enhancing our capabilities, but also on the service delivery side. So you see here a huge set of capabilities, a huge set of additional services and content that we provide. And I really hope in the next 2 days, you can understand in detail what is behind those different terms, what is behind these pillars. And I'm very much looking forward also to your feedback afterwards. So you see, we have a lot in place. Now someone might argue, yes, but is it ready? And yes, I would say so. Looking here at this slide and giving you just a few capabilities that really shows you that Cloud ALM is not just a vision, but it's a product that is really usable. So every day we have more than 80,000 unique end users on Cloud ALM working with the system. And what do they do? We have seen that during this year only, more than 20,000 projects have been started. So you see the build side is moving, but also on the operations side, more than 220 million alerts have been raised by our monitoring capabilities. So you see, this is a strong usage. We see strong adoption, and we are definitely also ready for you here in Japan, also backed by our own data center that we have here in Japan, where we run Cloud ALM, especially for you. There are several customer testimonials also that work with Cloud ALM, and I'm very much looking forward and also something wrong? Good. So several customers in there, but I'm very much looking forward also right after my talk that our customized NEC is coming on stage talking about how they use Cloud ALM. Now, Stefan already started to talk about it. I mean, AI is everywhere. And of course, AI is also a huge topic for us in Cloud ALM. It's not about implementing AI just for the sake of it. We really believe that there's true value behind. And in order to implement and to provide some AI that is bringing value to you, we have come up with an approach that we call AI to the power of 4. Why to the power of 4? Because there are 4 different areas which we are looking into. Number 1, and we start from bottom to top, is artificial intelligence itself. So choosing the right model in order to come up to the result that we try to have. Number 2, it's about the application integration. We do not want to build standalone AI. What we do want to implement is an AI use case that is perfectly fitting into the application, into the use case, into the process which we want to optimize. Number 3, it's about the adoption innovation. We also need to help you to really use it. It's a change in the mindset. It's a change of usage. So we really need to help also end users to better understand on how to leverage it best. It's not just clicking a button and activating it. We really need to work on making it part of the daily processes. And last but not least, it's about the actionable insights. So constantly learning, constantly adopting, constantly training the models that we have beneath. And all this is backed in Cloud ALM by our own data lake with all of the service and support data that we have in SAP. And this is now where also we come together in the strategy with our customer support strategy that Stefan mentioned. We have in this data lake really information from more than 30,000 of SAP customers. So we have a huge data richness. We have a huge data quality in order to train our models in the right way. And bringing this all together is leaving us with Cloud ALM looking into 3 main spaces, what we want to achieve. So with AI and the service and support data lake, we can really detect issues. And let's come maybe to a very specific case in monitoring. We can use AI to automatically detect an issue that is coming there. There's no need of a manual user looking into the system to identify. We can dynamically adopt thresholds based on the experience that we have. Now, that is just the first step. So just analyzing and identifying an issue, you might say, yes, okay, but what do I do now? The next step is we can use our AI data lake and base the patterns that we have identified from the 30,000 customers also to analyze the issue, to give you a detailed root cause analysis where this issue is coming from. And as a last step, it's also about resolving it based on the KBA, so the knowledge-based articles that we have, the SAP notes, our experience in support. We can also give you a step-by-step guidance on how to solving it. And this all combined is our vision of autonomous ALM. So we really try to reduce the manual steps as much as possible and to automate as much as you can, so you can direct your workforce on really value-generating use cases. Now I have talked a lot. It's time for software. It's a software event. So please welcome with me Alex on stage that will give you a demo on exactly what I just told you.
Work now? Ah, yes, much better. Okay, just okay, so we start out in the operation overview in SAP Cloud ALM. This is your central command center where you get a comprehensive overview of all your operational health. You can see various indicators and metrics across your landscape. In our case, SAP Cloud ALM detects an unusually high exception from the monitoring overview, and it already shows you a comparative analysis of the most critical exceptions, marked in red, meaning those are the ones you should start working on. Now, if we click on it, we can see a detailed overview on the anomaly. In this case, its work agreement is not found for the person. We can see a deviation from the baseline, which is on the bottom, these orange brackets. You can see usually in the last 24 hours, it has gone from our below 10 up to around 20. And this is not the usual case. So how can SAP help us here? So we click on AI-assisted resolution option in our alert, and we can see, okay, let's start the anomaly analysis. We started, and Joule checks not just my current alert, but also similar alerts with the same issue. And it shows me, okay, there's an integration error in the business service, and it gives me a preview that I can also see in the integration monitoring app. If I click on that, I can see a bit more detail. I can see that this issue affects multiple employees, and the integration exception monitoring app reports several failed messages. This indicates that there might be an underlying configuration or integration issue rather than there might be individual data errors. So when we go back to Joule, I want to now analyze the root cause of this exception. And the helpful part is that I can also get guidance to the resolution. So in this case, I would like SAP, or Joule in this case, I would like it to help me suggest a resolution. So I click on that, and Joule comes up with a two-step process. I have the option to download this resolution as a report if I want to do it all manually, or I can start with the resolution right here in this window. In my case now, we start with the first step, which is the Joule gives me the corrected code snippet, which I can then implement manually if I want to do it myself, or I can implement it right here in this window. In this case, I want to implement it manually. And then once I have done that, I go back to Joule and then start with step number 2. We've done that now in our case, and we start step number 2, and it wants us to restart the messages and re-trigger the process. I'll do it this time again. I can change, do I want it myself or do I want help? In this case, I want support, and it has then completed the exception. And then if I go back to the exception and integration monitoring app, I can see that everything is correct. Everything is in the green part, and I'm all right. And then if I can close this integration exception monitoring, if I go back to the beginning, I can see that the alert that I received has now gone to the bottom. It's been resolved. And if I click on details, I can see that my baseline in orange, I have gone down back to my baseline. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Alex. So I think this showed greatly on how we use Cloud ALM and AI and Joule especially to really manage through the monitoring space and helping you to reduce the manual efforts as much as possible. And before we come to our dear customer NEC, let me just briefly give also an outlook on what we are doing more in the transformation space in order to reduce costs during such projects. And basically, we invest here in 4 different capabilities. Number 1 is transition guidance, where we really guide you through by analyzing the system and what is your next step and how you should execute the transformation. Number 2 is in data management, especially on the data quality and data preparation. So analyzing your system, identifying inconsistencies, and automatically resolving them. And number 3 is on custom code management. Here I would see 2 main capabilities. Number 1 is the adoption of the custom code to make it executable. But number 2 is also on the semantical analysis and semantical guidance on bring your custom code in a clean core state. And last but not least, it's also about test management and execution, where we ourselves invest into creating our own test cases automatically, but also on the change impact analysis, while our partner Tricentis is working with AI on automating those test cases. So 4 pillars, which we are heavily investing in. When we are back here next year, you will see them also live and helping you to transform even faster. As said, a couple of customers that use the toolchain extensively. We will share that more. You will also get more insights into our AI roadmap. You see that we already have a lot of things live. Even this year, we will have even more live also on the Joule side. And then our roadmap for next year is really stacked. As said, this was just a brief overview. We will have deep dives on all of those topics in the next 2 days. And now please welcome with me on stage our customer NEC that is talking about how they use Cloud ALM in real life. Thank you.
So this session will focus on the innovative solutions, especially in the context of Cloud ALM. We'll also talk about the roadmap functionality. We'll also talk about the AI functionality, which is there already in the Cloud ALM and what's about to come. And before we begin, also let's see where did we start from. And like many other products of SAP, SAP Cloud ALM has also gone through a considerable amount of journey. It's the product which has been there in the market for last 5 years. And in 2020, we launched the product mostly in the context of S/4HANA Public Cloud. Then we added operations functionality into Cloud ALM. Subsequently, it went through a lot of capability improvement, which you can see here. And roughly around in the same time frame, we also seeded in the idea of business transformation suite, which currently you know in the context of business transformation management. And as we're going through in this journey, and Soren explained, companies also, SAP also acquired Signavio, LeanIX, and WalkMe, and that's also became an important point, as you can see later. So we had Tricentis partnership. Tricentis is a test automation solution. It got integrated with Cloud ALM. Then Signavio and LeanIX integration happened with Cloud ALM. We had the idea of integrate toolchain, which is a combination of Signavio, LeanIX, Cloud ALM, Tricentis. Then we started working on the AI functionality. We had our first AI use case and so on. And this gives you a very good glimpse of the roughly 13,000 customers which we had and the improvement in the functionality which we had in this whole journey. Going forward, what happened later, and it's also important to note that we also have a data center in Tokyo itself. So we have a very good data center in Tokyo. This is also available since long. And if you look at the functional maturity of Cloud ALM, we are also doing a lot of innovation on Cloud ALM as we speak. So this is a solution made on our own platform, BTP, and we are doing daily deployment. We are activating the functionality in once in 2 weeks. And this year itself, we have developed 1,000 functionalities on Cloud ALM overall. We also take feedback from the customers. I'll also encourage you to enroll into the customer influence portal. This year we had got 470. We already delivered on 110 and so on. So this is also a place where you can contribute to SAP by giving your ideas via the customer influence program. Now, as Soren also alluded in the beginning, we have roughly around 12,500 customers. And out of that 12,500, 2,700 is in the APAC and roughly around 350 in Japan. So there's a lot of runway here, especially if you are not using Cloud ALM or you want to increase the use of Cloud ALM, please do so. And this is already part of enterprise support contract, as mentioned by Stefan too. Let's look at Cloud ALM from 3 dimensions. The first one is it's an orchestrator. So it's also a platform which is bringing Signavio, LeanIX, Tricentis, and all the aspects of transformation tool chain into the context. Cloud ALM itself is also integrating in itself the different 4 pillars which you saw, especially in the context of the earlier presentation. And the last one, all the AI functionalities which we embed and use in the context of Cloud ALM. So these are the 3 pillars. And a lot of slides which you see here will be showing about the current functionalities which we have today, the functionalities which are in beta, not released to all, and also the functionalities which are about to come in the future, mostly in the context of agentic AI. Let's look at the first one. As you saw the idea of transformation as a flywheel, and to transform at that pace, of course, we need a smart solution, which is integrated from SAP. And we have invested in acquiring those solutions and also building those solutions. And we have also invested in integrating those solutions pretty well. And if you look at on the top, we have a typical project phase, which is discover your, what you're going to transform, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. And then we have the different tools, which you can see here. In the context of the tools, typically LeanIX is a place where you design your 2B enterprise architecture, where you have certain ideas to transform your landscape. And this is where the idea of initiatives comes into picture. Initiatives transform into project. The projects are typically available inside Cloud ALM. So there's a linkage between initiative, LeanIX, and project in Cloud ALM. While you're transforming, you have to also consider the data, that what is your data journey going to look like. And this is where Business Transformation Center, which is also a part of Cloud ALM, comes into picture, also integrated. Readiness check, of course, from, let's say, ECC to S4, or from one version of S4 to another, you have a readiness check, which is defining your journey. That's also integrated with Cloud ALM. Then the Rise with SAP methodology, the tasks, we also give the content is available. The best practice content from Signavio is also integrated with Cloud ALM. And then a plethora of AI functionalities, which you can see here for requirements, for manual test case creation, for end-to-end process traceability, and so on. So the idea here is that in your entire project journey, Cloud ALM acts as a execution platform, which is also well integrated with Signavio, LeanIX, Business Transformation Center, and has a lot of AI functionality embedded in it to accelerate your transformation journey. And now, a little bit more details about Cloud ALM as the orchestrator of the tool chain. So if Cloud ALM is in the center, it's integrated with LeanIX, Signavio, and WalkMe. At the same time, it's also integrated with Tricentis. An important aspect is that SAP Cloud ALM also has API-first approach. So even before we develop the functionality, we develop the APIs. So if you are coming from the partner community and you want to integrate the solution, APIs are available for integration. Subsequently, if you are considering, if you have your own ITSM solution like ServiceNow, it's also possible to be integrated. Of course, SAP Analytics Cloud is integrated. And then on the left-hand side, you see the standard solutions of SAP like WalkMe, Digital Discovery Assistant, CBC, Transformation Center, and the newly launched Private Cloud Workspace. All of them are meaningfully integrated with Cloud ALM. Just to illustrate by certain examples, so from LeanIX, we get the initiative and project, and we provide landscape information to LeanIX. From Signavio, we get the processes, and then what we give back to Signavio is the requirements and so on. So ultimately, there's a bidirectional exchange which is happening between all the applications which you see here, and that's what the data semantics and data integration is happening in the context of transformation. Now, going forward in the context of one suite, and as you saw the 4 pillars, here the pillars which are existing in Cloud ALM are, of course, implementation, which helps in implementing your to-be solution, helps in operations post-go live, of course, helps in migration of your data, and also helps in the context of services, acting as a service delivery platform as well. While all these 4 things are happening, they have their own individual capabilities. For example, requirements management as a part of implementation, integration management as a part of operations, and so on. And they need to work together too. So it's important that they work together. And that's where, let's talk about the first one, which is RISE with SAP methodology automation. So here what happened is that it's possible to invoke quality gates inside Cloud ALM. It's possible to execute quality gates, which has checklist inside Cloud ALM. You can transfer the quality gates executed back to SAP. You can get the assessment inside Cloud ALM and work on those assessment results in the context of the project. The message is very simple, that Cloud ALM becomes your central transformation platform where you can do end-to-end project execution, including the interaction with SAP via the quality gates. Going forward, the subsequent one is around data transformation. And in the context of data transformation, of course, we'll have a demo as well. We have a breakout session. So there's a breakout session tomorrow. If you want to know more details, you can look at the breakout session. And here, the idea is that data transformation activities which you do can also be integrated with the task. So the project inside Cloud ALM is becoming a central platform to manage your data task, manage your project task, manage your requirements for transformation, and so on. And this is where I'll invite Ajay to give a demo.
So here, in the next couple of minutes, what I'm going to demo about is the data migration activities integration with SAP Cloud ALM project. You have heard from our leaders now, Cloud ALM is a part of your entitlement. So if you already have an enterprise support contract, you already own SAP Cloud ALM tenant. With that, we also get the BTC, the Business Transformation Center, available on the SAP Cloud ALM platform, right? So now to start with, I'll just want to the transformation guidance. So what BTC provides is basically it provides you the transformation guidance, especially if you are moving from your ECC to S4. It provides you the transition guidance on what are the different activities that you need to perform and so on, right? To start with, we have the BTC now available within SAP Cloud ALM platform. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do here is within transformation, I move into the find your transformation approach. In the interest of time, we have already defined a transformation approach. It provides you what is the best way to move from your EC to S4, whether to go for a greenfield implementation or to go for a conversion or a selected data transfer. Now, within this transformation approach, we have a list of questionnaires, and based on the answers that you provide for these questionnaires, the recommendation is provided. Now, so in this case, I have the recommendation of going to a selective data transfer. Now, once I finalize my transition approach, I click on create transformation project. Yeah. So this is the activity that I'm currently performing on the BTC. I provide a name to this transformation approach. Japanese. Just move into English. Yeah. Okay. So I define the transformation approach. And then I click on, I also can link my SAP Cloud ALM project. I can either choose the SAP Cloud ALM project already available, or I can create a new one. In this case, I select the one which is already existing. So thereby, I can move all the transformation activities from my BTC into Cloud ALM in the form of tasks, and I can have these tasks part of your Cloud ALM project, right? So I click on create. Yeah. Now I have a linkage between your BTC project against the SAP Cloud ALM project. Now there is a seamless data transfer between the BTC and the SAP Cloud ALM project. Now I've jumped into my SAP Cloud ALM tenant. I have now all the activities that I need to perform. I can time box these activities. I can also move into the list of deliverables that are coming from my BTC, right? So I can search what are the list of deliverables. I can see there are a host of deliverables that are coming in as a part of BTC into my Cloud ALM project. And from these deliverables, I have list of tasks, which provides you step-by-step instruction on what are the activities that you need to perform, right? And I can look into each of these, and you see there are about 10 tasks, which is coming as a part of a specific deliverable. And one such task is create digital blueprint, right? I can see the details of this digital blueprint. It provides you the complete details. I can in fact navigate to the BTC right from here by clicking onto this. I can navigate into the BTC. So that way I have seamless integration between my BTC transformation project and the Cloud ALM project. I can bring in all the activities which I need to perform as a part of BTC into my Cloud ALM project and can execute as the list of project tasks. With that, I will now hand it over back to Sonal.
Thank you, Ajay, for the live demo. And moving on to the next one, which is the use of processes for business process monitoring, especially if you know Cloud ALM. So we have Cloud ALM where we define our processes coming from Signavio. And then in earlier times, it was also possible to have certain process loosely defined in operations. Now it's well integrated, which means that the process coming from Signavio will also be there in implementation and further in the operations phase, which are post go live. And then you can have KPIs to monitor those processes as well. KPIs are typically outstanding sales order, delivery pending, or sales order not created for quotations, and so on. And these can be put in the context of processes which are already defined in the implementation phase as well. And this is where Tokiwa-san will give a quick demo of this functionality.
まず、S4 HANA の導入のところでですね、SAP の設計思想としては、シグナビオでビジネスプロセスのデザインをして、それを元にですね、クラウド ALM に流し込んで、設計されたプロセスというところを管理していくっていうところをやります。で、今回はですね、この SAP トラベルという、シナリオをですね、実際にその導入のフェーズのところに設計したというような前提になります。で、このプロセス構築、プロジェクトの中で構築されたこのプロセスの、に従ってですね、本番稼働後の、ビジネスプロセスの監視に活用しようというようなコンセプトになります。で、ビジネスプロセス監視、本番運用後にですね、お客様のビジネス業務観点からですね、監視の KPI というものを設けておりまして、これを使ってですね、お客様の業務監視を行いましょうというような設計になっております。今このようにですね、すごくたくさんのですね、SAP がクラウド ALM の中に、埋め込まれている標準の監視項目というものがございまして、最近ですとお客様自身でですね、独自のそのカスタム KPI というものを設けることができるようになりました。で、それとですね、要はその標準のプロセスとカスタムの KPI というのを紐付けるっていうことできませんので、実際に作ったものをですね、その業務プロセスを設計したプロセスと紐付けて監視をしようということが、この監視のコンセプトになります。 先ほどのプロセスをですね、これですね、SAP JP トラベル、先ほど設計された JP トラベルという、プロセス階層をですね、インポートします。すべて選択してですね、インポートというものを行います。そうすると、ここにですね、インポートされたプロセスというもの、プロセスの箱みたいなものと思っていただければいいんですけれども、そういったものが出来上がります。あとはですね、ここのそれぞれのステップの中に KPI を埋め込んでいくというような作業を行っておきます。まず先ほどの、お客様からですね、お伺いしたところ、購買のですね、失礼しました。こちら KPI です。失礼しました。で、購買のですね、やつをですね、セットアップ、失礼しました。ちょっと待ってくださいね。よし。よいしょ。倍の図が出てこないな。出てこない。ごめんなさい。じゃあ。OK。これ。失礼しました。ここで。失礼しました。ここでトラベルというものを KPI を割り当てます。保存します。はい、保存できました。同じようにですね、購買のところに、金融業務関連のところにも、購買という KPI を追加します。保存します。はい。で、そうしましてですね、失礼しました。先ほどインポートした SAP トラベルというものを保存して表示させるようにします。で、今まだ見えないんですけれども、このようにですね、SAP トラベルというものが、登録したものがですね、見えるようになったというのが、デモになります。すみませんでした。
So we have approximately 100 plus KPIs for business process monitoring. And if you need more, you can always have custom KPIs as well. Another important aspect, mostly in the operations area. So especially in the operations area, you get a lot of alerts. Yeah. And these alerts also leads to software changes in the system. And that's why it's possible to create out of alerts now tasks from the projects, tasks, requirements into projects, user stories in the projects. You can also use alerts to create features and move transports into your system or into your landscape. So it's an important integration which you can see. So you saw the integration from implementation areas into operations area, and this is the reverse one, integration between operations area towards implementation area. Now, moving towards the aspect of AI, I will not explain this slide. Sorin has already explained it. In the interest of time, let's move on to the 4 pillars which we see in the context of AI. The first one is to accelerate the implementation and operations of the project. The second one, especially in the operations area, the efficiency around automation of problem resolution and detection. Then the dashboards, which you can have, especially in the context of insights, and speeding up the configuration of Cloud ALM itself. So these are the four important pillars which we see in the context of AI. And in the context of AI, we have these three improvements broadly which we see. The first one is using AI as a capability inside Cloud ALM. So if you remember the four AI to the power 4. So one of the pillars was AI being part of the product itself. So Cloud ALM also having AI functionality. The second one, using Joule to have a new way to interact with Cloud ALM. And lastly, the autonomous ALM, where we will talk about the uses of agentic AI to make things efficient. Especially in the context of implementation, it's possible to now generate requirements from AI. So the conversations which you have in your fit to standard workshops, the team meeting notes which you capture, all that can be fed into Cloud ALM, and you can have requirement generated. Subsequently, in the operations area, we already have a possibility to have dynamic thresholds for synthetic user monitoring. So any experience which user has can have a dynamic threshold, and this is also available as a functionality inside Cloud ALM. While the first one is in beta, the second one is already a GA, generally available for all of you. And we'll see a quick demonstration about these two functionalities by Ajay and Tokiwa-san.
So in my next demo, what I'm going to show you is the embedded AI capability within the implementation of SAP Cloud ALM, where I'm going to focus on how the requirements can be created through using one of the AI use case. Right? So this is using the large LLMs, where we use LLMs where we transfer all the conversations that we have during the fit to standard workshop between the experts. We have the transcript of the conversation. We load this into LLM and get meaningful information of it, and then which helps me in creation of the requirement. Right. So this is one of the case where we have embedded AI within the implementation of SAP Cloud ALM. So here we start with the processes. So I go into process of SAP Cloud ALM. Here I've already defined the process, which is the implementation project with SAP Cloud ALM. This is part of my tools and technology solution scenario. Here I have a process which is defined for the ALM process itself. Right. So here I move into the solution process view. In the solution process view, I can see that I have a process flow on how I can execute my ALM processes. And I here move into specifically test solution process, and I see there are two documents that are linked to it. And one of the document is basically the transcript of the conversations which happened between the experts within the fit to standard workshop. Right? Now I will use these two documents in order to generate a requirement automatically. So now I go back into implementation, and then I go into the requirement generation. Here I use these documents and the context of solution process in order to generate requirement here, right? So to do that, I have now an option to generate requirement, and I use this option to generate a requirement. Yeah. So I specify a meaningful description for a requirement. So I say, let's say ALM Summit requirement. Just switching it to English again. ALM Summit requirement. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, Summit. And then I specify the template. So template basically provides you on how what should be included within the requirement, what are the contents of the requirement. So basically it defines you the overall structure of how the requirement should be created, right? And then here I define the scope, which I have already created. I specify the solution process, which I have already defined. And then I can also select the list of documents that actually link to the process here, right? So we saw that there were 2 documents that were linked to the solution process. I've selected both the documents and I assign this to the requirement. And then I also have the option to attach the help documentation from SAP. So all this information from the solution scenario context, from the transcript, I'm able to generate a requirement automatically, right? So this now helps me in creating requirements through the LLMs. Yeah. So I'll just wait for the requirement to be created. Yeah, and then I can see the entire context of the requirement. I can provide further details if I need to, and then I can go about saving this requirement. Yeah. So this is how I'm able to generate requirements using the embedded AI capability in the area of implementation for SAP Cloud ALM. With that, I will hand it over to Tokiwa-san to do the next demo.
私の方からはですね、今度シンセティックユーザーモニタリングということで、エンドユーザーさんがですね、定期的にクリティカルなターゲットとなっているトランザクションを定期実行して、その挙動を、クラウド ALM の中で定常監視しようというような仕組みのものになります。でこのシンセティックユーザーモニタリングになるんですけれども、こちらなんですけれども、今までの、敷地監視、あれですよね、何か応答時間の、敷地を超えたら、黄色、赤というふうに、信号を出すような、アラートを出すような仕組みっていうのがあったんですけれども、今ですね、こちらのシンセティックユーザーモニタリングのものに関しては、自動的にその、敷地を動的にですね、AI のですね、クラシカルな AI の記述を使いまして、動的に作ってくれると、そんな機能になっております。でこれがですね、定期実行されている、トランザクションのシナリオになります。で今見ていただけると分かるかと思うんですけれども、このグレーのものがですね、実際にそのトランザクションが実行された時の応答時間になっておりまして、黄色がですね、敷地の黄色の敷地を出すとアラートを出す時の敷地、赤がですね危険という時に赤い信号を出す時のですね敷地、この2つになります。こちら見ていただくと分かると思うんですけど、従来のソリューションマネージャーとかクラウド ALM とかっていうのはこの敷地ってはずっと一定でしたよね。で必ずここのところは監視の要件でこの敷地っていうのを定義していただいた上で、それで監視のアラートっていうのを発砲するということを行っていたんですけれども、このシンセティックユーザーモニタリングのダイナミックスレッショルディングっていう機能を使いますと、過去のトランザクションの傾向をですね、統計情報を取得し、そこからですね、そのダイナミックにそれぞれの敷地を設けてくれる、そういった仕組みになります。こちらの方もすでにリリースされておりますので、ぜひご活用いただけるとありがたいと思っております。
So it took a lot of effort from our side to define this algorithm, and you can see that there's a lot of seasonality into it. So the pattern detection for the waves which you see in between is not so easy. And now when it's working pretty well in synthetic user monitoring, will increase the scope or adoption of this functionality in other capabilities of Cloud ALM as well. And going to the slides, we saw the example about the requirement generation, but that's not the end. We'll have test case generation as one of the upcoming functionality. We'll have solution documentation generation, which is generating the solution documentation inside Cloud ALM. We'll have more and more solving tips. Solving tips is already part of exception monitoring, but more and more will come. Dynamic threshold, as I mentioned earlier, it's already part of synthetic user monitoring, but will appear in health and job user monitoring as well. Change point detection is in the context of anomaly, where you have anomalies, detect anomalies, and so on. The message here is very simple, that a lot of AI functionality is already available today. A lot of them are in beta, like requirements management. By the way, Panasonic was speaking about requirement management generation in Sapphire this year. So if you want to look at a customer story in detail, you can always look at Sapphire recording. and you'll get much more insight on that too. Going forward, and here, as Sorin also mentioned at the beginning, that we have Joule integration already planned, and we want to show you a demo of this functionality, that how do you have Joule integration. I think we already got one from Alex. Here we'll use some other context to show you, and then also the AI-assisted dashboard generation as well. So these are two important quick demos which Tokiwa-san and Ajay will do.
じゃあ私の方から、Jouleを使ったですね、このダッシュボードの生成というところをちょっとご紹介したいと思います。こちらですね、監視ダッシュボードというのが、今年の Q4 にですね、リリースされるようになります。で、これ何かっていうと、今、クラウド ALM で溜め込まれている情報収集されている監視のデータがあると思うんですけども、それを、一元管理というか、一つのですね、ダッシュボードの形で表現してくれる、そんな機能です。で、ここにですね、Jouleがですね、統合されておりまして、いろいろと監視の項目があるんですけれども、試しにこの中で一つ、作ってみましょうというようなデモをちょっとご紹介したいと思います。こんな感じですね。先週のシステム応答時間を折れ線グラフで出力してほしいというような依頼を投げてみます。おっと、こんな感じでちょっと私が意図した、グラフと違うので、時系列表示時系列で出力してほしいというような依頼を出します。こんな感じですね。時系列で、グラフを作り直してくれました。応答時間だけでは、システムの応答時間の測る、原因調査にはならないので、ここにユーザー数を、追加してもらいます。こんな感じで、グラフは作ってくれたんですが、ユーザー数が潰れちゃって見えないですよね。なので、システム応答時間をシステムの応答時間を軸の2軸で表現しましょうというところを依頼します。こんな感じでグラフができました。これをですね、2025 025JP でカードに、保存して、これ作ったグラフをですね、2025JP という名前でカードに保存します。このカードっていうのがこれ一個一個になります。またカードに保存して、はい、すみません。ちょっと待ってくださいね。 すいません。ちょっと、ジュールの方がちょっと、私の日本語をうまく、理解してくれなかったみたいなんですけども、ここでですね、カードを保存していただいて、そのカードをですね、出力してできるというようなデモの方をちょっと紹介させていただきたかったんですけども、一旦ちょっとここでは時間がないので、こちらの方を省略させていただきたいと思います。
Thank you, Tokiwa-san. So this is also a confirmation that this is a live demo. He couldn't save the card, but it's possible to save the card as well. Now coming to the last segment, especially I will move on to the other aspects of conversation AI. Here, as part of the roadmap, we have intention to integrate Joule with Joule for developers and Joule for consultants with Cloud ALM. We have project reporting, which will also, as you saw for time series, is also possible to have project reporting generated by the Joule, which we have. We'll also have more and more AI-assisted resolution. Security checks is extremely important, especially in the context of S/4HANA. You like to have security checks on the configuration and so on. So finally, now the final frontier, as we know about the agentic AI. So we already have a very good context, which is coming from service and support infrastructure, which we have. We have access to SAP best practices, which you know from RISE with SAP methodology, task, and content. We also have, in Cloud ALM, we also have access to the customer context. The way you operate, the landscape information, the operations information coming from your system, we have that context too. And that makes Cloud ALM a very lucrative space for having agentic solution. So as you saw, all the demonstrations before were creating some kind of efficiency. So you're making things faster and so on. With agentic AI, you can also offload a lot of decision activities to the agents, which you can see here. And there are possibilities of having agents in the implementation and operations area. In the implementation area, agents can help you in creation of requirements. Agents can help you in creation of project tasks. For example, agents can help you in the setup and configuration, in analysis, and so on. Similarly, in the operations area, agents can help in the correlation of events. Agents can help in doing the root cause analysis and resolution. So ultimately, the activities from your side will shift from doing to validating.
Yes.
Validating what the agent is doing and further guiding it to do efficiently in future. So with that, and with the time card which I have here, this roadmap slide you have already seen earlier. Here, I would say that a lot of these functionalities which you saw today is in beta, which is requirement generation, for example, and a lot more is going to come in future, which is put here. And the anomaly detection, for example, the threshold part will be available in more capabilities of Cloud ALM. In the case of implementation, we'll have a lot of efficiency in generation part. And finally, the future, mostly beyond 2026, will start working heavily on the agentic functionality, which you just saw in the previous slide. In nutshell, what we discussed today are these three pillars. So SAP Cloud ALM acts as a transformation execution platform, which is integrated with Signavio, Linux, WalkMe, Tricentis, and many other offerings which you saw. Secondly, SAP Cloud ALM within itself is also integrating between implementation and operations, implementation and service, and so on. And finally, our roadmap and our journey to autonomous ALM is quite strong, and this will further get enhanced with agentic AI. That's it from our side, and we'll have conversations during the break for sure and handle our Q&As.
ありがとうございます。こちらの方でキーノートの方は終わりになります。